how useful these indicator words can sometimes be. Let's look, for example, at this final argument. Creationism has no place in a science class because it is not science. Why not? Because creationism cannot offer a scientific hypothesis that is capable of being shown wrong. That tells me right off the bat, if I'm just kind of sketching this out on the side, that I need to have 1 being justified by 2, but also I need to have 2 being justified by 3, or at least by 3 and other stuff, right? So I need to be looking, let's make this a little bit more available. I need to be looking for a pattern like this, right? Well, where do I see that? Do I see it here? No. Do I see 1 being justified by 2 being justified by 3? No, not here. But I do see it right here, right? And that's why I know that that D is the correct answer. This same trick can be really handy all over the place, right? It's not just the word because, the word so it follows that, and that's why I think are really handy too. So like in this one, so it follows that Senator Hill is a conservative. What follows? What follows from what? Well, 3 follows from 2 and 1, right? That means I need to have the pattern of 3 following from 2 and 1. Now maybe the 2 and the 1 are linked, maybe they're not linked. I don't know. I have to think about it a little bit further to see that, but I at least need to look for that pattern somewhere in my options. Same with 5. 5, it says that's why I think, make that a little cleaner. 5 is that's why I think Senator Hill will oppose the spending bill. Why? Because of 4. Oh, and look, we also have which means that, which is another indicator word. 4 is going to be justified in turn by 3. Well, there's only one argument available here that has that pattern, that has these little bits that I've indicated in the argument, and that, of course, is argument C, which is why C is the correct answer here. And then, by process of elimination, we're going to put F in for that last argument. But notice that F makes sense, right? If I'd left on time or if traffic was light, I wouldn't be late for class, but I left 5 minutes late and traffic is heavy. That's why I think I'll be late for class. That makes sense. And I'll be late for class, that's why I think I might as well stop and get breakfast. That makes sense too, right? It scans. And if I flip it around the other way, it'll scan too. I might as well stop and get breakfast. Why do you think that? Because I'm going to be late for class anyway. And why do you think you're going to be late for class? Because if I'd left on time, but I didn't leave on time and traffic is heavy, that scans, right? So the reason I've taken the time today on this weekend day to lay all this out for you in kind of gross, boring detail is because that one thing is really important. It'll really help a lot of you, I think, figure out finally how these diagrams are supposed to work. Really think about the fact that the arrow gives you a reason, right? If you see one proposition connected to another with an arrow, that arrow means that one proposition is being given as the reason for the other proposition. So you can take that first proposition at the top of the arrow, read it to yourself and say, that's why I think, and then read the bottom proposition to yourself. And if that scans, if it makes sense, then you've probably got the right kind of diagram.